Their religious disagreements led to conflict and separation. And Credo grew up under the protection of his grandfather, Nekosesi, an elder and high shaman who was custodian of the relics and history of his tribe. Before long, Credo was initiated as his attendant and as such carried his medicine bag and forbidden secrets.
My name is Mutwa, Credo Mutwa, and I live in the Republic of South Africa. I am what is called a Sanusi, which is a sort of high priest. I am a traditional healer belonging to that branch of our traditional religion which regards the Great Earth Mother as being superior to God the Father, because there are two great branches of the black religion. When I was made into a Sanusi, I took a vow never to reveal my knowledge, never to tell people about my profession or about the sacred artifacts like this one and many others that I'm entrusted with. But I feel that this vow is a hindrance, and some years ago I decided to break it.
In 1960, Credo's fiancée was killed when police opened fire on a crowd during the Sharpeville riots. After her death, Credo decided to break his vow and open the secrets of Africa to the world. And he decided to demystify the role of a shaman in Zulu tribal society. With the changes throughout southern Africa, Credo understood that this was the appropriate time to promote unity through his higher knowledge. This film was made 6 years before the end of apartheid and the transition to a new government in South Africa, led by Nelson Mandela. Credo Mutwa's message of peace and nonviolence was shared by the majority of South Africans, which led to a new era of reconciliation and hope.
I believe that if ignorance can be banished from this world, if people can communicate with each other fully, frankly, and in depth, then all wars will cease, because the cause of war is fear and hatred. And hatred is the ugly little daughter of the evil witch of ignorance. Africa has been called a savage land, an untamed land. It has even been called the Dark Continent. But Africa has neither been savage nor dark. In fact, I will go so far as to tell you that Africa is the sacred hook that joins all the cultures, all the languages, and all the religions of the world together. Africa is the true missing link in man's past. There are links throughout the world in language and culture, and the farther back into the past we go, the closer and more remarkable these links become.
Credo is a man who has a deep understanding of the world's philosophies, religions, and their relationship to the mysteries of the African soul. He admits that Christianity appealed to the African spirit with its teachings of the Divine Mother and the ideal model of God, where the divine and the human can unite in oneness, a message originally brought to Africa by the missionaries.
The people of Africa on the surface were a primitive skin-wearing race. the people of India and the people of China and Japan were amongst the most ancient, most civilized nations of the world. And logically, these nations, they should have been in a better position to understand the message of Christianity, but no, they didn't. They rejected it out of hand, and very few of them became converted to it. But in Africa, despite the wide communication gap that existed between the black people and the missionaries, despite the fact that many missionaries were at a disadvantage when it came to preaching to the people, because they had to preach making use of interpreters, very often who could not speak the local language. Still, in spite of that, the message of Christianity reached the black people, and they were converted to it in droves. I am a traditional healer, and most of my practice has to do with overcoming fear. And I know from many years of experience that the more unfounded a fear is in the mind of a human being, the more deep-rooted that fear happens to be. There comes a stage in the life of a human being when he or she falls in love with his or her pet fear. And according to the traditions of our people, if you want to overcome fear, you have got to face it squarely. Today, sir, there are people who walk about in this world fearing other people. A man of one race conditioned to fear people of another race. In fact, this is the deadliest, most devastating fear that we human beings have got to face. Our fear of our own brothers, our fear of our own sisters. Now, how can one overcome this fear? The more unfounded a fear is, the deeper its roots and the deeper its intensity often is. Now, first you must ask yourself, why do I fear those people? What do I know about them that I have got to fear? Face your fear. Look at it in the face as a lover looks into the face of her lover. What have I got to fear? If I am black, what have I got to fear from the whites? If I am white, what have I got to fear from the blacks? If I am Caucasian or Aryan, what do I have to fear from the Jews? Or if I am Jew, what do I have to fear from the Gentiles? You will find on facing your fear squarely that your fear is based not on what you know about those people, but on what you do not know about those people. And once you make it a point to know more about those people, then you will overcome your fear. People get fascinated by the outward appearance of a thing. We are so conditioned to accepting the strange as ugly and bizarre and outlandish that we often forget that lying behind that strange exterior is often a mind like our own, a mind that sees me just as ugly as I see its exterior to be. But if I could reach into the mind of that creature, into the mind of that strange human being, and if that human being could reach into the mind of mine, we could somehow put an end to each other's fears.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Credo was given a special headdress as a gift from Hopi elder, Grandfather David.
When I came to the United States of America, I was very afraid of the people known as the Red Indians. I had come with preconceived ideas of how these people looked like. I was expecting tall, wild savages with blood-red skins and long hair, the sort of rubbish that we are shown in comics as to how Red Indians look like. I was very surprised to find not only were these people not red, in fact, they were like our own Cape Collards and Hottentots in appearance. I found that they were my brothers. I found that these people, instead of being people to be feared, were really people to be loved. When we overcome the fear of people of races other than our own, we shall be closer to achieving the long-held dream of philosophers. The dream which is to create a united world which would take the first sons and daughters of mankind to the very stars and beyond. Because so long as man is divided by fear, so long as man is divided by hatred, so long shall he never know real progress.
Credo is one of those unique individuals who truly understands the importance of spiritual awakening that is required from all of us to truly reach for the real purpose of life and why we are here. He emphasizes the need for a deeper understanding of God Himself.
I think that God could be the source from which all living things come. It is the source of all order and logic in creation. When one looks at a tree, for example, one can see the art, the artistry and the logic behind each leaf, each branch, and each layer of bark upon the tree. A tree is a highly advanced sort of living machine. And that living machine could only have been created by something that was just as alive and just as wonderful. That is God, I think. When man discovered God, he discovered a shapeless, featureless, endless entity with which he could not cope. And so, in order to handle the mystery of God, man reduced that mystery to a shape that he could recognize and therefore understand. Man reduced God to a human-like family, a family of God the Father, known by my people the Zulus as Unkulunkulu, which means the greatest of the great ones. And God, the Great Mother, known by the Zulus as Nomcubulwana, which means the plower of the many fields, the lady of many plowshares. And God the Son, known by the Zulus as Umvelingangi, which means the firstborn of the Almighty. This stone here is engraved with the 10 great laws of the Almighty. And This serpent symbolizes one of the most important pillars of the traditional black religion, that is a belief in reincarnation, that which lives now shall travel along the road of life, shall die only to resume the journey of life in another shape. This is the symbolism of the double spiral serpent. It's a symbolism of rebirth. Also, it is a symbolism of the secret road that, according to ancient tradition, was taken by people between this star system of ours, the solar system, and other solar systems, because we are told there was a secret spiral road which you could travel from this earth of ours to other planets. But when man became aggressive and sinful, the gods closed the path of the many returns, as it was called. We are shown another spiral, but this time this spiral represents not the secret pathway between the stars, but the hidden force which lies under the earth, which can be harnessed by a Sanusi for the healing of people.
One of the roles of the shaman is the ability to invoke great healing powers. In Africa, the shamans were not only the embodiment of wisdom, but were there to bring forth the powers of healing from the heavens and to assist those upon the earth.
I arouse the healing power within me, and I feel it come out up from along my back like a stream of very hot water moving along my spine. And then it comes to the top of my head, and it feels here as if there's a very big hole through which something is coming or going out, I don't know. And then the hands begin to feel like pins and needles. And then the body trembles. And then when I place my hands upon this sick person, I feel immediately that sick person's illness in me. And then afterwards, I take out the sickness from me. But that is but one of many methods that we employ in healing people. When I heal a person, it's not always necessary to have the actual person in front of me. I can have an item of that person's clothing or a person's ornament, and so on. You can do actual healing and you can do distant healing. There was a time in remote antiquity when people tried to use the energies of the earth to heal illness and also to extend the human lifespan. We are beating the drum and singing the song of salutation to the spirits that lie asleep in this sacred place. At these healing stones, the stones were first polished vigorously, and then the women dance around the sacred stone. There was all things that were done by hundreds of people in that area at the same time, whose aim was to arouse the crackling energies of the earth. The people stirred themselves up by various actions, by dances, by jumpings and other activities, to arouse the energies of the earth to full flame. And very, 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 very often, the earth responded. And I would love, say, to see the day when people stop calling such gifts supernatural. Because the moment they say that, they close the door upon full and frank investigation of this phenomena. There is nothing supernatural. Everything is natural. Prophecy is nothing more than man's early warning system. A system that all our forefathers and all our ancestresses possessed in ancient times. There's nothing unusual about it.
In Africa, as in many places of the world, the throwing of bones and shells were considered a direct link with the ancestral spirits. Oftentimes, the bones and shells were thrown in 3 different locations as a way of divination and to assist us in understanding what the future might have in store for us.
Bingelela bonga amadlozi bonga umlomo siyabonga makhosi akudede ubumnyama kuvela ukukhanya akudede ubumnyama kuvela ukukhanya bingelela bonga amadlozi bonga umthetho lotshiwe umthetho lotshi umthetho bolotshewe etshemila leyo ntaba yenza kwabanye labantu njobufuna benzi. It seems to me that today people are divided into 2. There are those who want to create and those who want to destroy. Now, these people seem to me to represent the modern poles of good and evil. I would like to advise all people who work, all people who create with their hands, to take in the eye of their minds a journey to the land of Egypt, where I once was. And these people will see the difference between a destructive person and a creative one. They will see the great Sphinx of Egypt rising above the sands. They will see the pyramids and the ancient temples towering above the sands of the ages. But they will also see that these ancient creative people left a lasting, visible, tangible mark upon the face of this planet. But they will have to dig very, very deep indeed to find traces of warlike men. A person of violence creates no beauty. He only creates a passing illusion, a passing empire. But a creative person, a Phidias, a Michelangelo, or whoever, creates something that lasts for 1,000 years. And only by creativity shall we ensure the survival of the human race upon this planet. Now, I try to be one of those who seek to create, to show our people the way, to rebuild that which was lost, and perhaps to make other lives happier, to leave the world a better place than we came into it. You can heal a whole community by creating something beautiful near that community. It is my profession which teaches me to pursue art, to pursue writing, to pursue all forms of communication between human beings. Because when you are a traditional healer, you must be able to communicate with people at all levels and in all possible ways. In Africa, we have always striven to create the perfect human being. And the so-called witch doctors, the much malignant traditional healers of Africa, the most misunderstood people are these perfect human beings. We try to eliminate from ourselves all base feelings such as jealousy and so on. And within the limits of our tribal laws, we have sought the truth about mankind, the truth about the universe, and we have pursued art in all its forms for many, many generations, because we believe that to be creative is also to heal. The so-called witch doctors of Africa were scientists, psychologists, parapsychologists, artists, builders, and what have you. And we were the spiritual leaders of our people in ancient times, and in many ways we still are. It is the custom that when people are facing a crisis in Africa, statuettes of this little deity, this little man who came from the stars many, many thousands of years ago to give us light, should be offered at certain holy places. Into the water of the great hole we have thrown, amongst other things, this god called Ndeiza Mvonjina, the messenger of the star gods, the messenger from the Milky Way, so that the real Ndeiza may know that we want to see him, we want to hear from him, we want him to come to our assistance.
Credo Mutwa has written, I send my voice to you beyond the stars. I call to you, O God of countless names, to you, O mystery of feathered ears, unseen yet seen, unknown yet knowing all, O shapeless shape beyond the galaxies, O source supreme of all the things that be, eternal flame in which the stars were born, God of my fathers, let not my country die. Above this roaring flame of death, above the storm of hatred and fear, above the howls of min-turned beast, I raise my plea, O Nkulu Kulu, let not my country die. Declare your will, and let your light shine forth, to pierce the tempest and devour the dark, and let Azania to know peace once again.
All people, all nations must seriously work for peace on this earth. There are so many challenges facing mankind. There are so many things that call to us from far away, that I do not see any need for hatred, for fear and war on this world. I know that many have made this futile call, but I shall also make it, that there should be an end to all war and all conflict on earth. The sooner you people out there start respecting women, the better this globe shall be and more peaceful. In fact, I would dearly love to see the United Nations being run by women. There will be a lot of noise, a lot of screaming, but we will have a peaceful world. Don't you think so? The fact that people of this day and age are still willing to fight and to destroy the entire planet over childish philosophies, I feel that this shows the present immaturity of the human race in many ways. I do not think that these things are worth creating a prison planet over, a planet of fear, where all, even the humblest ant, must walk in fear of nuclear annihilation. I wish that the wise men of this world could come together and give man new philosophies which will save him and not destroy him. Behind life, there is something fantastic. There are things that we cannot see, things that are just as wonderful, if not more so, than those things that we see. We live and we delude ourselves, for example, that we are masters of our own fate, our own destiny. But that is not the case. If we were masters of our own destiny, every one of us would be a millionaire, and every one of us would be president of the United States or president of whatever. The truth is, whether we believe this or not, there are forces guiding us about which we know nothing. There are forces guiding the fate of nations, the fate of whole countries and continents. And there may be forces even guiding the fate of whole worlds and universes. There is so much in life that we don't know. And yet there is so much that waits to be revealed to us, if only we could but knock at the right door. I've had many strange experiences in my life, but I feel, even with these many strange experiences, that there is still much that I do not know about what life actually is.
We have reached the end of a long and very complex story. What is included here is, without any doubt, the